The following is a production of 4 Star Sports Media.
Are you hungry? It's time to sit down and get full of sports on the Sports Buffet presented by 4 Star Sports Media with your host, Wes Pruitt.
What's up, sports fans? It's Wes Pruitt over here, right here. Wes Pruitt's over here. Then I got John Sturdivant. Oh, over there. Sorry. Thank you to everybody watching and listening right now. We appreciate it over there at the live feed of the podcast. We appreciate it. Welcome to the show. You're inside the Sports Buffet, and we have got a jam-packed show for you today. Man, we're going to talk a little MLB. Going to talk a little... gonna talk a lot. Gonna talk WWE, live golf, college football, man, a little bit of everything. So let's start with the burning question of the show. And for those of you watching and listening, none of this has been released to the public yet because I haven't posted it on social media. So you get to, hear the questions. So burning question of the day is: when will the MLB bring back the players in their uniforms for the All-Star game? Now, I understand it hasn't been all that long since players have worn their regular uniform, but this is something that fans have kind of been clamoring for recently. So that is the burning question. So, John, we'll get your thoughts. Welcome to the show, by the way, John. But let me get your thoughts on that, man.
Good morning, first of all, to our listeners. Bright and early 8:30 start, and good morning to you, Wes Pruitt, and good job on Monday morning, and you did a great job. But and also good job on Tigers Den, also, by the way, too. Oh man, good question to start, bro. What can I say? Because the hat selections are not that good lately. That's one reason I think a lot of people are asking, just like you are, when are they going to bring the uniforms, their original uniforms, back for the All-Star game? And I hope it's next year, to be honest with you, because I'm getting to the point where it's kind of not turning me off for All-Star game, but the real question to me is, but I'm sure it's a part 2 question regarding that question too, because when is the All-Star game really going to matter again? Per se also, because when they got rid of that, that's kind of where it turned me off, in other words, watching the All-Star game, because now they're just enjoying their All-Star game, just like the NBA All-Star game. They're just having fun out there. And they're using one pitcher every 2/3 of the batter, basically, it seems, because they want to basically, show out and show some talent out there. But I hope it's next year, to be honest with you. That's the one reason I'm kind of turned off by it lately, because I hope it's next year, because who doesn't love the City Connect Kansas City Royal jerseys that they wore this year? Who doesn't love the purple jerseys that the Colorado Rockies wear? And then who doesn't love the new St. Louis City Connect jerseys that they wear?
Yeah, those are nice.
So I hope it's next year, to be honest with you, because I love the alternate, and I also love the new City Edition jerseys that they have. And who doesn't love the red Atlanta Braves jerseys also that they wear? So yeah, I hope it's next year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hope it's soon. I mean, at least let them wear their normal hats or something. I mean, let them do something, kind of like in the college game, how the player wears their normal helmet and there's stickers from every other team around it. That's something unique to let everyone know obviously we know who they are, or if you follow baseball, you should know who they are. But make it unique, make it more important for the player and for that organization versus here's some jank ass jerseys. Here you go. Well, just throw those on. You'll look okay. Don't worry. Yeah, no. All right, man. So let's get down to our poll questions. As I stated before, these have not been posted as of yet. So once the show ends, we will post these. How excited are you for the MLB festivities? Are you ecstatic? Are you somewhat excited? Do you not care? Or are you just not going to watch?
Dang, you took some answers already for me for this poll question.
Yeah.
Let's just go out of it. Like, is this out of a 10 level or is this like?
Like that's your four. That's your four choices. You're ecstatic. You're somewhat ecstatic. You don't care. You won't watch. So, question number 2 is: where does John Cena rank in WWE greats? Is he top 5, top 10, top 20, or below the top 100?
Wow, Wes, you're doing a great job this week on the questions.
So, hey man, you gotta bring the heat sometimes, man. You gotta bring the heat sometimes. It is 8:40. All right, so John, I do want to, when we get down to college football, I do want to talk about a hot seat for a certain conference, and then I got kind of a poll question, I guess, to ask as well. So let's go ahead and get to the main course. Once again, thank you to everybody watching and listening right now over at the live feed of the podcast interview. We appreciate it. We thank you. Here, let me move my notes out of the way. Look a little more somewhat professional here. That's just for the folks watching. I know the people that are listening don't care. Got my good old Phil Steele magazine up there. Boy, that's the Bible of college football right there. But no, thank you to everybody watching and listening. We appreciate your support. Yeah, and I also want to say this too. I know I mentioned it on the Tigers Den. I want to say it again. Doing some research, looking at some insights on Twitter or X alone. If we continue the same current pace that we're on, we'll reach roughly 1 million people this year through our Twitter page. So I appreciate all the support. I appreciate the growing followers. We're just here putting out the content that we have in front of us. That's all we're doing. But there's not really a lot of hot takes. There's a lot of stat-driven stuff. But we have fun doing what we do, and we appreciate you guys watching and listening and supporting us as always. Right now, we're live on YouTube and also on X.
DX.
So, John, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. So we got the MLB and the MILB All-Star games coming up. When I say All-Star game, I'm talking about the Futures game, and we're going to start there. So when you look at this Futures roster, obviously it's loaded. It's all minor league players. But you got guys from single A all the way up to triple A. You've got the Arkansas Travelers catcher Harry Ford out of Atlanta, Georgia, playing for the Catchers. Just to go through and give some, local teams. You got Cole Young, an infielder for the Travelers, double A affiliate of the Seattle Mariners. Gavin Cross, Northwest Arkansas Naturals, outfielder from Bristol, Tennessee, is playing in the outfield. And then the coaching staffs, which I find really interesting, man. It was really cool. So we found out, I guess earlier this week, that maybe last week, that Adrian Beltre was going to be the manager. And then you look at his people around him, man. It's all Texas Rangers because it's in Texas. Former guest and good buddy of mine, Nate Miller, is going to be there covering the game too. So I want to get Nate on sometime next week to talk how that experience went. But John, very interesting to me. I'm scrolling through the roster here. I don't see a single Memphis Redbird. I just realized that. Oh. But when you look at some of the top talent in this game, the Red Sox number 1 overall prospect. He's the number 7 overall MLB prospect, and that is the shortstop at the it's Marcelo Meyer, and both of their top 2 picks over the last 2 years, Marcelo Meyer and Kyler Kyle Teal, who's a catcher, number 3 overall prospect for the Red Sox, number 24 prospect for the MLB. But Mayer participated in last year's game. He did start at shortstop, and he did single in his lone at bat. So going to be a lot of fun. But Anthony would receive the highest bonus in Boston's 2022 draft class, which was $2.5 million as a supplemental second rounder. I had to go look at my White Sox. We got Colton Montgomery, number 1 overall prospect we got number 1 overall and number 2 overall team prospect, Colton Montgomery, shortstop, and Noah Schultz, left-handed pitcher. You've got Colton, who were both high school first round. Both these guys were high school first round draft picks as well. Montgomery's really good, physical shortstop with a really strong bat. And then Schultz almost reminds me of Randy Johnson. And I know I'm not trying to put a lot on this kid. I'm just saying, look at his stature, look at his build. 6'9" lefty, throws a strong fastball and a nasty slider. So I mean, there's a lot coming at you off that mound. But yeah, I'm really, really, really excited about this futures game. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, my thoughts on it are the same thing as you. Basically, I'm kind of surprised there's not a single Memphis Redbird on there, especially the way that some players for the Redbirds are basically helping their program right now, especially from the long ball lately, especially how much talent the Redbirds actually have at the long ball position right now. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. But I also think, like you brought up, it's going to be down in Texas, and I think that's a good environment, especially to see the Major League Baseball players connect with the minor league players, as well, and just give them some advice, down the road. And it's all going to be at one stadium like you brought up. So it's going to be an interesting weekend, and it's going to be fun to watch all over because it starts, tonight, I believe, on some of it. So, yeah.
The futures game is tomorrow at 3 p.m. It'll be on MLB Network. I'll be tuning in. Should be a lot of fun. And John, when you talk about the MLB festivities, one that, growing up, man, I always loved it. That's the Home Run Derby. The Home Run Derby was always fun to watch to me. Of course, back then, so was the slam dunk competition because you had guys like Vince Carter, Kobe Bryant, and others. Well, in the Home Run Derby, you had guys like Ken Griffey Jr., my guy Big Hurt, Frank Thomas, Albert Bell, and others. But then you would see a kind of a re-evolution with guys like Josh Hamilton, former Texas Ranger, former number 1 overall draft pick as well, and talented baseball player. Just couldn't get it. Rather, he had some demons. We get it. But when you look at this Home Run Derby, they're starting to put kind of more of the home run, no pun intended, but the home run hitters back in it. So we would announce that the Rangers outfielder, Adolis Garcia, had been selected to the Home Run Derby, which is Monday night, by the way. And that is for the fourth straight year and 14th time in the event's history, a Texas Ranger will participate in the Home Run Derby. It is Garcia's second time competing in the Derby. He hit 17 in a first-round loss to Randy Orza. I can never say this guy's last name. The guy that played for the Tampa Bay. He hit 24 home runs in last year's event. I can't remember I can't speak his last name. But Garcia will also join Alex Rodriguez, who did it in 21 and 22, as the only players in club history to participate in multiple Home Run Derby competitions. He will also be the first Ranger ever to compete in a Home Run Derby hosted in Arlington, as Texas did not have a player in the last Home Run Derby, which was in Arlington, which was in what year, John?
2017.
Negative. Talking about my guy, Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas would win the 1995 Home Run Derby when he would outslug another guy I just mentioned, Albert Bell, 3-2 in the final round to get the win. It's funny, those two guys would actually become those two guys would actually become teammates for the White Sox. So Very, 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 very interesting stuff, man.
I was not trying to show
no
our age.
Texas-
That's why I said 2014.
Yeah, I got you. Speak of Josh Hamilton, he did finish second place in 2008, despite hitting 35 home runs over at Yankee Stadium. His 28 home runs in the first round that year remain the most ever by a Ranger in a single round. And no Texas Ranger batter has ever advanced past the first round of the Home Run Derby since 2009, when Nelson Cruz was eliminated by Prince Fielder 6-5 in the final round at Kauffman Stadium. So, like I said, 7 p.m. Central Time on ESPN, and I'm sure they'll have like StatCast and stuff too. But 7 p.m. Monday night, right there at Globe Life Field in Arlington, and man, it's going to be electric, John. And also, there's also a little bit of history with the Dodgers, but also a few other teams. Okay, so the Dodgers are one of 10 teams in Major League history without a home run derby winner. Can you name some other teams on that list, John?
All right, repeat the question.
All right, the Dodgers are one of 10 teams in Major League Baseball without a home run derby winner. Can you name a couple of the other teams?
All right, let's go with Cincinnati Reds.
No, they're not on the list.
Okay. Dang.
I'll give you two more guesses. And I'm
probably not the Rockies
are on there. The Rockies,
really?
Rockies are on the list.
I'm kind of time out. Regarding the Rockies, I'm kind of surprised that the Rockies is on the list, because when they had it at Coors Field, back in the day, that was a pretty interesting, matchup back in the day regarding some Rockies.
Well, the ball just travels so much farther up there. Yeah. So I'll give you this list, and for everyone,
one more.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll go with the San Francisco Giants.
No, they're not on the list. Okay, so I want to give you the list, and I mean, for those of you watching and listening right now, if you're paying attention, you're probably going to see this as a trivia question coming up. So the Dodgers are one of 10 teams. Along with the Dodgers are the Atlanta Braves, Cleveland Guardians, Colorado Rockies, Houston Astros, Kansas City Royals, Pittsburgh Pirates, San Diego Padres, and Tampa Bay Rays. And of the Dodger participants in their tenure, of their 14 participants total, Jock Peterson has made it to the finals and was outdone by Todd Frazier at the Great American Ballpark in 2015. Peterson also owns all of the Dodgers home run records. Single record holder with 39 in the second round of the 2019. Most homers in a derby with 60 in 2019, and total derby home runs with 99. The Dodgers will see Teoscar Hernandez in the lineup this year. He will also, so John, here, let me just give you some of these guys, okay? You've got Orioles shortstop Gunnar Henderson. These are guys that are going to be in the home run derby.
Right.
Royals shortstop Bobby Witt Jr., which I'm excited to get our next guest on and talk about Bobby, because Bobby's ultra talented. And talking with the guys up here that's with the Naturals, he put balls out of the literal stadium at Arvis Ballpark with ease. The batting practice was just like pay money to see him. Cleveland Guardians third baseman Jose Ramirez, Philadelphia Phillies third baseman Alec Bohm, New York Mets first baseman Pete Alonso, Atlanta Braves designated hitter Marcell Ozuna, and Texas Rangers outfielder Adolis Garcia. And this is what I'm excited about, John. The home run derby will return to the original format, with all 8 hitters against each other and the top 4 advancing to a knockout style second round. They will be seated on the number of home runs that they hit in the first round. New to this year will be a pitch limit along with the traditional timer. The first 2 rounds will conclude when 3 minutes elapse or 40 pitches are seen. The final will end after 2 minutes have gone by or after 27 pitches are seen.
I kind of like the new rules, to be honest with you. Back to the old days.
I like you're taking the new like pitch clock kind of, you're implementing it with a pitch limit, and then at the same time you're bringing back the rules that are more, like you said, traditional. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan, man. Actually, I'm a big fan of that. I like it.
And I also like the. I don't know. Honest with you, I like the lineup that we have this year as well. Like you brought up. Shoot, I might just do some predictions right now at this show and say, let's go with it. You know, if you're down.
I mean, you gotta look at Bobby Witt.
Right.
Bobby's definitely one you got to keep an eye on. But I mean, there's some major power hitters in there, man. Let's not. Pete Alonso can smack it. Gunnar Henderson's got some major pop to him. Jose Ramirez. This is a finally, I feel like it's a group of real power hitters, not just home run hitters, but power hitters, and that's what I'm excited to watch.
And especially with you brought up Alonso. I think it's gonna be Alonso and Uzuna, or how do you pronounce his last name?
Ozuna
for the Braves. I think ever since he left the Cardinals, he's got a little bit more power for the Braves. So that'll be an interesting semifinal matchup. And then, like you brought up, I think I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go with the hometown Garcia. Get past the first round. For the Rangers. And then Bobby Witt Jr. Just an awesome story. Not only stealing the bases, but the way he's been hitting the home runs as of late, and actually giving Kansas City a chance to actually make the playoffs this year, and first time in so many years too, by just playing so well lately. But the real question is Alonso going to win it all, and I don't think Alonso is going to win it all this year. I think you can probably see Bobby Witt Jr. beat him this year in that final, and I think that's when Bobby Witt is going to capitalize and win the final. So it'll be interesting, like you brought up, new rules or new changes again, because let's just get real. The last years and the years past did seem like it took like 4 hours after the first two rounds, it seems. So it's going to be fun to watch. Like you said, it all starts, tomorrow at 2 o'clock. That trivia question just blew me away. I was kind of surprised by it, especially the Pirates, man. I thought Andrew McCutchen would at least, win one of those home run derbies back in the day. But wow, that's just shocking by the teams that that you listed. To be honest with you. Charge.
Sorry, folks. I've had that soundbite saved for like weeks now, and I just really wanted to play it. Kind of like this.
All right, I got. All right, here we go. I got a question for you, dude.
Sure, go ahead.
We're gonna have a streaker at the All-Star game.
Excuse me.
I said, are we going to have a streaker and somebody actually try to go on the field at the All-Star game?
I mean, I think you could definitely see it. I wouldn't try it. I mean, based on what we've seen recently with guys who try to streak, don't try that. You're not going to win that battle. But no, man, baseball's. I mean, it's halfway gone. Like that's the crazy thing. Like I feel like the season just started, but we're already at the All-Star break. We're already at the break for minor league baseball as well, man. So John, when you look at the minor league system, it's split into two seasons essentially. First season, second season, or first half, second half, however you want to look at it. Who are some teams at the minor league level that you feel like, because as we know, you're getting ready to see, and we call it the natural ladder because we cover the naturals here, but you're getting ready to see a lot of movement. Guys are going to start going up, going down. Where you going? Who you with? Oh, you were at Double-A. Oh, look, now you're at freaking majors because somebody got hurt. Injuries really affect the movements of
Right.
the minor league system, and that's one thing that I really have enjoyed covering, and just getting building relationships with some of these players that I've been around up here the last 2 years. But you really see how guys are developed, especially
Mhm.
at the double A level. The single A, I understand, is very important, but at that double A level, man, these guys are being. I mean, it's a lot of over exaggerated movements. It's really really interesting to watch. So when you look at minor league baseball, like for example, you have the Redbirds, the AAA affiliate of the Cardinals. They're in
Mhm.
Memphis. What are some things that you think minor league baseball can do to try to increase some of the crowds and things of that nature? Because if you've looked at the attendance, it's at times a steady decline.
I mean, it's kind of well. Let me answer that first part question first that you asked. Like, what team? You said what teams to be on the lookout for in the second
Mhm.
half of the season.
Yeah.
Let me answer that first question first, and then I'll get a little bit deep in detail regarding what I think is going on with attendance. To be honest with you, the team. Well, first of all, let's give the Omaha Storm Chasers a lot of love too, because they actually have qualified for already for that playoff spot, because they've already Jonathan Bolin and Tyler Gentry deserve a lot of credit on that roster too. But let's just give them a lot of credit for actually making the playoffs, because they did win that division the first half of the season. So credit to Omaha Storm Chasers on that. But yeah, like you brought up, there's two different divisions now, and it's kind of been interesting ever since COVID, to be honest with you. Ever since they divided it up between International League, which was consisted of Omaha and Milwaukee, or not Milwaukee, but Nashville Sounds and Memphis Redbirds, while they're in the International League now, regarding that. And everybody else is in the Pacific Coast League. So it's going to be interesting. Right now, in the second half of the season, you see right now in the International West, you see the Nashville Sounds leading that division right now at 7-3 on a 4-game winning streak. And as you know, Milwaukee team does have a lot of movement right now regarding a lot of players going up from AAA and the minor leagues, or AAA and the major leagues as well right now. But I'm going to go with the team. You know what? I won't be surprised if Memphis Redbirds do make a little bit of noise in that second half of the season. It's going to be key because, like you brought up, some teams do have a 2-week homestand. So it's going to be interesting down the road how the Redbirds do. But a team to look out for, in my honest opinion, I won't be surprised if you see just the way that Cincinnati has been kind of struggling. I'm kind of shocked how Cincinnati is in that first half of the year. But you can see a Louisville, Cincinnati's AAA affiliate maybe make some noise and make some secure that second half playoff spot other than Omaha in that position in the West. But a team to look out for in the International East, who have a 2-game lead right now and a 12-3 record, I'm gonna go with the Durham, or not. Durham's in 3 games back right now, but don't be surprised if you see a Tampa Bay AAA affiliate of Durham also. It's because Durham has that history, man. Like Durham has basically qualified for the playoffs year in year out, and right down there only 3 games back. What are
Oh
your
yeah.
two?
I mean, I'm definitely not going to do this to what you just said. There's no booing or mooing here.
Yeah.
So I mean, I tell you, you brought up Omaha, first place right now. Really, really, really playing well. You've seen a few of the Naturals guys move up and make real impacts there. You mentioned
Mhm.
Jonathan Bolin and Tyler Gentry. Gentry is one, and he's been doing this. I mean, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's bad. Sometimes he's getting the old golden sombrero during a game, and we ain't talking about hitting for a cycle. We're talking about not getting hit at all. So, um,
Because this stain is hurting the stomach.
yeah,
That's what he's doing.
yeah, some of his stats are not good. But both of those guys have been very impressive this year. Bolin, who was up at the majors for a while, but then got put back down, and it's not a put back down in the sense of a punishment. When you look at the minor league level, and you and I have talked about this off air, A lot of it has to do with just the age, the guy's age. How old is he? You know, how many times has he been up to the majors? What has he done at the majors? What are his numbers? You can look at a pitcher. You go look at their WHIP. You go look at their ERA. You get into some more in-depth stats of how they've done righty lefty, that type of thing. Certain situational stats. You can really learn and figure out how that guy has done at whatever level he's been at. So when you look at minor league baseball, this futures game is always a lot of fun to watch, always a lot of fun to keep an eye on. They used to have an all-star game. This is the all-star game of the minors. After COVID, they did away with it, and they've never brought it back. They've started the futures game, which is, like I said, it's the all-star game. But very, very surprised that we did not see any Memphis Redbirds on that roster. Very, very surprised, honestly. Was not expecting that. And I think when you look at the roster that's assembled for the Redbirds and you look at Double-A Springfield, a team that I've become very familiar with, watching them, but seemingly all the time up here. I feel like they're always here. But you look at the talent that's at Springfield, the pitching for sure is elite. I think you're going to see some Redbirds and some Cardinals move around. And I think you're going to see some guys from Springfield make that jump to Memphis. And when they do, I hope that you get more Memphis fans who are Cardinals fans out to watch these guys, because that's what talking with some of the minor league players, they know the crowd's not going to be great. They understand that. But they also understand that, hey, if I come in here and I play well and I soak up what the coaches are teaching me or trying to teach me, and I take the skills that I already have, I can get to where I want to get to. This futures game is literally the future of baseball. You go back and look at it in games in the past, and you're seeing guys that are now at the major league level.
I mean, you don't see a Jordan Walker every once in a while play for the Redbird like he's been the last 3 months. Yeah. You don't see that very often at all. I know he was struggling in the major leagues, but you don't see a Jordan Walker down in AAA baseball for 3 months. And like you brought up, there's going to be a lot of movement in the second half of the season, so it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. But the second part of your question,
he's so fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
Jordan Walker, dude, he's so smooth at the plate. His batting practice is almost buy a ticket worth it. There's some major power there.
As long as he can stay healthy and just keep up, what he's been doing at AAA, I think it could carry over to the second half of that St. Louis Cardinal baseball team. But the second half question to your answer, man, I'm not going to speak for other teams because I've only been in 2 minor league stadiums in my life other than AutoZone Park, and it's been First Horizon Park in Nashville. But we can do better at maybe, I don't know how they are, in other stadiums like I just brought up, but the game atmosphere, you got to get more credit. Let me give Dustin Starr and his gang a lot of credit, first of all, on what they do in-game facilities and whatnot. That's out of their control, and whatnot. Yeah. But the in-game facilities that they do, games-wise, or basically the same games, it seems like every game, it seems. You got to mix it up a little bit. And, of course, consistency and prices are ridiculous also. Who wants to pay $10 for who wants to pay $10 for a hot dog and fry?
Dude, it's $5.50 for a hot dog at Arvest Ballpark.
And it's probably one of those small hot dogs too. It's not one of those.
No. It's a full size. It's a full size wiener, but it's whatever. I guess you want to call it full size. But
yeah, consistent
for example, that actually, man, that's a great point. That's a great point. And we got a guy coming on from the Royals here just momentarily to talk Royals. We'll talk a little Naturals. We'll talk Omaha as well. But you talk about prices. Now, you go and you buy a cheeseburger at Arvest Ballpark. It's $9.50.
Highway robbery. I'd rather go to Huey's.
and then
Shout
but
out
then
Kiwis.
yeah, man, yeah, we need to get them as a sponsor. That steak on a stick is so good. But and then you go and you get a barbecue cheese fry, $10.75.
Oh wow.
And it's not even like it'd be different if it was like Wright's Barbecue, right? The incredible barbecue place here right around the corner in Johnson, Arkansas. Voted on Yelp as #1 barbecue place in the country. If it was that barbecue and like their cheese and all that, that's fine. I'll pay $10.75, $10.50, whatever. But you gonna give me some? No. I'm a barbecue. And you know this. My wife has learned this. I am a barbecue snob. If it's not good barbecue, it's not going to my mouth. It's not gonna happen.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, also, like I'm gonna say also this. Maybe if you look at the ticket prices across minor league baseball, if you buy in advance, they're like $25 to $30 with fees. If you want, like, for example, you know how the Rebbers got the second deck where people can sit like a 4-party table and they can get all you can eat buffet. Like, I mean, the buffet only lasts an hour and a half, whatever, but it doesn't seem like that long at all, to be honest with you. But it's like $95, with fees alone for that price. I also think another thing is if you reduce if you do more promotions like the University of Memphis football team is doing right now for like ticket wise, I think you'll get more people to go to games, whatnot as well. And I think right now the people, one thing is hot for one thing. Also, I'm not bringing the hot excuse, but it's torture out there when it's 100-degree heat index out there at 2:00 in the afternoon watching a minor league baseball. Who would rather? I mean, people would rather just stay home, to be honest with you, and I don't blame them at all for that. But yeah, different, prices in general for tickets right now are ridiculous. It's like $30 like 2 days before the game, and then the closer that you get, you see them drop down to like $13 to $17. And I think if you do more promotions also, regarding tickets like the Memphis football team is doing right now, you'll get more people in the attendance at these games. But also, I don't know how much parking is also at other places, but me and you have brought up numerous times how bad downtown Memphis is in general right now regarding that. And also all these break-ins that are happening in downtown Memphis right now. That's what's keeping Memphis Rebber fans probably away right now, because who wants to pay $30 unless
to get their car broken into?
Right. But I'm not saying it's that is the I'm not saying that is the reason.
Oh yeah, it's got something to do with it. I know,
but it's happening a lot more over in the last couple of months regarding people, because there's at least 10 car break-ins that happened at the Rebbers game the other night, man. People paid $30 to park, and it's ridiculous. The parking price, ever since they went to that digital format, ever since they went to the digital format where people had to put their license plate number in and instead of pay a park attendant, they lose jobs that way. First of all, it's like Kroger, like when you go, it's like when you're going to Kroger and doing self checkout. You don't see
tell me, bro.
cashiers.
I check myself at Walmart every time I go. You ain't gotta tell me.
But long story short, man, like the parking prices are ridiculous in downtown ballparks, in general. And I hate to say it, but that's one reason that the Redbirds are struggling right now. Parking in general, downtown Memphis, $30 to park, where it used to be like $10 or $15 to park for like 24 hours. Hey, even the University of Memphis basketball game right now is $30 to park downtown. So yeah, parking downtown right now in other cities might be a factor also. So parking prices go down, concession stand prices get better, and then maybe people will start showing back up, and then ticket prices as well.
Did you say $30 to park for a Memphis basketball game?
Yes, sir. After taxes, it seems, depending on where you park, but yeah, most of the time, you like parking at parking garage, it's like $30.
So, for example, for Naturals games, okay, and I'll use Arkansas for an example too, but I'll use Naturals to start. So we're talking minor league baseball. You can sit behind home plate. They call it a dugout premium seat. I believe it's $15, $17. I'm sorry, it's a dugout premium seat. So you sit right behind the dugout. You can sit. That's for $15. You can sit
Mhm.
in the first seat right behind home plate and hear every word that the catchers are saying for $17. So for $2 more, you can sit right behind home plate. But they have a deal that on Tuesday nights, if you're an Arvest Bank, which I am an Arvest Bank customer, but if you are an Arvest Bank customer and you go up there and show your debit card or bank statement, whatever, you can get $5 ticket, and that ticket is right with the $15 ticket, the dugout. It's a premium dugout seat for $5, just for being an Arvest customer.
Right.
So like things like that, and then like for example, the Naturals on Tuesday nights, it's the cheap ticket through Arvest, and then after that, it's dollar hot dog night. Dollar hot dog, dollar brat. Now with the dollar brat, you don't get all the sauerkraut, onions, all that. They just give you a bun and a brat. That's it. So, and it takes forever because 95,000 people are there to get burgers or to get hot dogs and brats. And, for $1, you turn around, like guys turn around, they have like just handfuls. Like, hey guys, excuse me, let me go through with my wieners. No, dude, like you're crazy. But yeah, man. So, they're trying to find ways to, they have like Thirsty Thursdays. They have like a little happy hour thing from I think 5:30 to first pitch or something. So there's ways to get people in, but dude, how you get people in is Star Wars. You get people in Star Wars up here. That place is packed. And speaking, and I can totally attest to your statement when you say it's really hot and really hard to be out there. It's not easy. That ball field's hot. But no, yeah, the MILB All Star Futures game. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So it's like I said, tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. right there on MLB Network. John, let's take a quick break, man. When we come back, gonna get the guy from the Royals over to talk a lot about the Royals, all that and more, right here on the Sports Buffet on the 4 Star Sports Radio Network. Welcome back to the Sports Buffet right here on the 4 Star Sports Media Network. As you can see for everybody watching right now, the banner says Cody Clark talks Royals baseball. So I'm not Cody, John's not Cody. So let's get Cody on to talk some Royals baseball. There he is. Cody Clark has joined us to talk Kansas City Royals. Cody, we appreciate you coming on.
Great to be here, guys. Sorry, cutting out just a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
I got you back.
Yeah. Yeah, Cody, welcome to the show. And
Royals baseball as the MLB All-Star game is upon us. Cody, can you hear me okay now?
I got you. Cutting out just a little bit. Maybe it's my connection. I'm not sure, but hopefully we're good to go now.
Cody, let's tell our listeners like a little bit about your background, then, just to start. Then,
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Go ahead,
from
John.
Arkansas, can you guys hear me?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. From Arkansas, just grew up around the game. My dad's a longtime college baseball coach. Played college baseball at University of Arkansas and Wichita State, both, close to Kansas City. Grew up, Kansas City was the closest big league team to us. So we used to grow up going to games occasionally in the summer. And then
Go ahead, John.
was drafted by the Rangers and played about 11 years of pro ball as a catcher. A little bit of big league time with the Houston Astros in 2013, and then was the bullpen catcher for the Royals for 3 years, 2014, 15, and 16. And obviously those were the prime years for the Royals. We went to 2 World Series. We won, beat the Mets in 2015, and then became a Royals scout after that. I was on the pro side for 4 years doing advanced scouting, and then now the last 4 years I've been doing amateur scouting on the amateur side, covering Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama.
wow. Go ahead, Wes.
Can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys hear me okay? Hold on, I'm getting an echo.
All right, let's try this again. Cody, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you
good
guys
deal.
hear me?
I apologize for all that. All right, so yes, sir, we got you loud and clear now. All right, so for those of you watching and listening, we apologize for that technical difficulty. All right, so Cody, when you look at the All-Star game, a lot of talented players from the Kansas City Royals. How excited is this organization down in Texas?
Yeah. So, can you say that one more time? What was the question there?
How excited is the Royals organization to have Bobby Witt and Salvador and in the All-Star game?
Yeah, I mean, that's just so excited. I mean, to have 4 players in the game
to have obviously Bobby Witt is the franchise player. He's having an incredible year. To see his trajectory the last 3 years has been amazing. He's becoming the player that we thought he was when we drafted him. MVP caliber player. Obviously, Salvador Perez is a Hall of Fame caliber player, and to have those two guys in the two homegrown guys in the All-Star game is an amazing thing. And then to have Seth Lugo and Cole Reagans in there is amazing as well. And that's just a tribute to our pro department there for picking up those two guys, and a tribute to our player development for getting these guys throwing so well. I know just from an organizational standpoint, to have four guys in and to have the first half that we've had, it's a lot of excitement going on.
Cody, I'm very familiar with the Northwest Arkansas Naturals, obviously the AA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. One name that is very prevalent here in Northwest Arkansas is the name of Rusty Kuntz. So tell me a little bit about Rusty and what he does for this organization.
Yeah, so Rusty was a longtime first base coach for the Royals. Now he travels around to each affiliate, and so Rusty's expertise is outfield play and base running, and just some of the things that he can teach our young people about outfield and base running. He's got just a wealth of knowledge, and so anytime I used to be around Rusty, I would just be quiet and just listen to him, because he was so detailed about everything that he knew, and he was teaching about outfield and base running and things like that. And in 14 and 15, we had those really good base running teams and stole a lot of bases, and that's a tribute to him.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, Cody, let's talk about the hottest team right now in Omaha Storm Chasers. First place, they already made the playoffs because of the new format that they got now. But just talk about the impact so far regarding the Omaha Storm Chasers. Two local players here from the Memphis area. I know Jonathan Bolin personally, and I also know Tyler Gentry a little bit as well because of Arlington days back and forth back in the day. Just talk about how Bolin has done so far, and I know the last few games has been up and down as well regarding that, but Jonathan Bolin and Tyler Gentry are fun to watch as of right now too. And I think they do have a shot as basically making that major league roster in the next couple of months as well.
Absolutely. I mean, those are two players that we picked high in the draft, and two players that we rely on to give us a lot of big league mileage. Bolin from University of Memphis. I know that both those guys were drafted before I came into the area, but just talking to our scouts about them, they were really excited about getting both those guys. Jonathan Bolin's a big body guy who, I know that we liked because he was a guy that can command the ball and throw a lot of strikes. And I think that, he had the injury, but now he's back on the right track, and we're still expecting big things out of him in the future. And kind of same thing for Tyler Gentry. Just, he had that really big year a couple years ago in AA, and he had a really big second half last year. And we're just kind of expecting the same thing out of him. I know he struggled a little bit in the first half. Maybe the cold weather up there in Omaha. I don't know. I never had a good. I was there 5 years. I never had a really good opening month either. So that might be something to it. But yeah, we're expecting a lot of good things out of those guys, and I know that they're going to help us out in the big leagues.
Cody, speaking of players that hopefully will help you out in the big leagues, one guy specifically here in Northwest Arkansas is an Arkansas favorite. I know you know the name I'm getting ready to say. It's Caden Wallace. When you look at Caden, his glove is absolutely incredible. I mean, watching him live, take BP, things of that nature on the field. his glove he makes it look effortless. And he and I have had conversations where he tells me every time it's not effortless at all. But watching the work that he has put in, especially in the field, but specifically more than that at the plate, watching him work with Tommy Shields, watching him work with Rusty and others, he's really starting to come into his own, as I would say, from the plate. Now, I know he's currently on the IL, been on the IL for a while with a hamstring injury. Luckily, he's back. He's now back with Northwest Arkansas. So I expect, and I made a comment on our Northwest Arkansas Naturals show last week, but I expect to see Caden back in the lineup probably when they come back home, coming up here soon. What is it about Caden Wallace? That I didn't just say, but what is it about Caden Wallace that really has the Royals excited about their future?
Yeah. We took Caden high a couple years ago, and again, he's another player we're expecting big things out of. Caden can kind of do it all. Like you said, his glove is really good. Obviously, he's got an incredible arm, throwing it across the diamond, and just a really solid hitter. The thing that with Caden is that people don't know is he's got an incredible makeup. He's a very clutch player. I remember, scouting him at Arkansas, and I was not the area guy at the time. It was just, they were in the territory, and I remember seeing him play, and it just seemed to always have good at bats and always kind of get a hit when they needed one. And he kind of carried that offense there when he was there. That last year he was there, and he's just always kind of he's built for it. He's built for the game. He's built for the long haul. He's built to get those big hits and being under pressure. That just doesn't bother him.
It really doesn't. So Cody, now's your chance. We've talked about all the players. Now we got to talk about you. We got to figure out who is Cody Clark. And once again, we appreciate you coming on to the Sports Buffet today. But Cody, who are?
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, my internet's having connection issues. Just wanted to know, who are you? Let the fans know what you do for the Royals. What are some day-to-day things that you do, and then what are some things that you have enjoyed about your tenure in Kansas City?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I played for the Royals. Of my 6 of my 11 years playing professional baseball were with the Royals. Played in Northwest Arkansas the first year that the Naturals were around in 2008, and then again in 2009, and played in Omaha for 3 years after that, and then was the bullpen catcher for the Royals in 14, 15, and 16, and that was a great job. I played a lot of catch with the pitchers every day. I caught their bullpens. I threw a lot of batting practice, and just got a front row seat to those 2 World Series. And so that was a lot of fun. And then I transitioned into a scouting role, and I was the advanced scout for 4 years, or one of the 2 advanced scouts. And so I would go in and watch, a team before we played them, and just kind of give them an update of what that team was doing. And then now the last 4 years I've been on the amateur scouting side. So I've got a territory down in the deep South. And so I ride around trying to find players and trying to tell my bosses and the guys that are our key evaluators who to come see and who to be on. And so that's kind of what I do. I check out these college programs like LSU and Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, and some of the other ones, and just try to figure out who we should look in for the draft.
Well, Cody, congratulations on everything that you've done so far. You've done a heck of a job. Good luck this weekend. I know the draft is only like 48 hours away. So good luck on y'all's picks. And look forward to seeing a future Royal down the road.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on. Anytime. Always love talking about the Royals.
Cody Clark joined us, John. Man, what a great job from Cody. What great insight into the Kansas City Royals as well. All right, you can read the bottom of the screen, folks. He was a guest before. Let's get him back on again. This time he's got a national championship in the room. I mean, Chad, I got to admit, man. I mean, it was kind of a sarcastic when I said, hey, I think y'all can win a natty. I mean, I did pick y'all, but that curse was something big, and y'all just threw that monkey right off the back.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, watching the guys go out every day and compete, and you kind of saw it as the season went, just how close they were. I don't think it was the deepest or best pitching staff we've had, obviously, but just guys that knew their roles and went out there and did what they were capable of each night. And it started with, you saw how close they were in that Florida State game when you're down 3 runs in the 9th inning, trailing the whole game. Things aren't going great, and they put some of the best at bats I've ever seen together, back to back to back. Get 5 hits off some good pitchers in 1 inning, and 2 strike counts and walks, and doing everything can to win the game. They weren't going to be denied.
Chad, first of all, congratulations again on being a national champion.
Go ahead, John.
How does it feel, first of all, and then the second part, like when did you really realize after that first game, against A&M, that y'all could probably win that whole thing after all?
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. Still surreal. You still wake up in the mornings like, hey, is this still real? Do I still get it? Like, I can't get enough of, watching the highlights just to make sure it actually happened and seeing the guys celebrate it. I mean, you live your whole life hoping to be a part of it. I mean, even as a fan, you just want to see your school succeed. So just being part of the staff and seeing how hard everybody works on the coaching staff, all the way down to the players, managers, everybody, it's special. And, you go down in history for it. No matter what you do, you're always a national champion. And so that first game against A&M, we just didn't play very well. Got beat, and still knew that these guys, how they are. I was like, man, we haven't lost 2 games in a row since first week of SEC play when we lost Saturday, Sunday to Alabama. It felt like. So, I mean, I don't think anybody doubted them. They definitely didn't doubt themselves, but you just knew they were going to bounce back because that's what they've done all year long. And great leadership with Christian Moore and Blake Burke and people who've been in the program, Hunter Inslee, 3 years, 4 years, and being able to lead some of those young guys, the transfers, and get them all to be one team and just take on your role. And at the end of the day, you end up with a national championship.
Well, Chad, speaking of roles, I know last time you came on, you were the director of baseball operations, and I know now you're in a different role. So let the fans, and us for that matter, know what you got going on now and some things that you're excited about in your new role.
Yes, so I've transitioned over to the business office. I'm the athletic business manager now. Great team over here, people that I've dealt with on a daily basis in my other role, whether that's getting money from them for road trips or sending invoices in to be paid. So I've known these people for my 9 years here, and excited to spend more time with my family. Warren's going to be a year old next week. So, I mean, I'm excited to have nights and weekends and work at 8 to 5. It's different, but still around, still the same place. And funny story is, last time we talked, I knew I was going to be in this new role. Couldn't say anything out loud. I actually got the job in February. They called and asked if I was interested. And we talked about it, and we sat down with Tony and came up with a plan where I could finish out the season and then start over here once the season was over on July 1st. And then, we ran it all the way up to that point, which made it even more cool, go all the way out. I told my wife that last day. I said, hey, regardless of what happens against A&M tonight, knowing this was our last year and the players didn't know, was they've taken us to the very last day of the season, regardless of the outcome. And there's only 2 teams that get to do that. So it was even more special knowing that was the last ride.
Man, that's got to add so much to your final year in that role. And look at him, John. Oh, Chad, just keeping one under the rug. I get it. Hey, you can't say nothing on the air. I get it. I totally do. But
Yeah, we
that's
didn't want
actually
players
really, really
knowing,
funny.
not that it would have been a huge deal, but we didn't want them to know. Let them just go play the game. Let me throw my batting practice, keep things as normal as possible. We didn't want to affect anything. But I'm excited about the new role because now I get to work with all the sports, be around everybody a little bit. So that's pretty exciting too.
So, talk a little bit about the change. So you go from go to now you get to be husband Chad and dad Chad. What does that mean to you outside of sports?
Yeah, I mean, that means the world. I told when they called and said, would you be interested in this job? I said, Warren was 6 months at the time. I said, 6 months ago, not a chance. Baseball's my passion and I love it over here. But I said, man, I want to see that kid grow up. I felt like I missed stuff and I didn't. And spend more time with my wife. I think it'll be good, for our marriage, even though we love the baseball side, we love the lifestyle and, getting to travel and everything. But now we get to travel when we want to travel, not necessarily work or be gone for 3 or 4 days at a time. I mean, it was a blessing. We got to spend 13 nights in a hotel in Omaha. So that was fun, and I'm just excited to have a little bit of a normal life. Sports are great. Like I said, love the lifestyle. I'm a huge sports guy, but it'll be nice to, when friends are doing something on the weekend, you can hang out or not miss somebody's wedding or birth of somebody else's kid or, a family thing. So that'll be a good change. It'll be different. I'm sure it'll hit about February when that first game rolls around.
Man, what a way to go out! 14 consecutive days in a hotel in Omaha. Wow, that must have been exciting. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, first of all, credit to you and the coaching staff for wearing those black jerseys at 110 degrees heat index. I would have like, Tony Vitello, what are you doing? But that's a different story for another day. But yeah, wow. 9 years, Tennessee. What kind of memories are you going to basically have, like, other than national championship, of course? What kind of memories are you going to have down the road that you can always tell your son one day?
A lot of it would be the relationships. I think no matter what you do in life, the relationships, the people, the friends, that's where your memories come from. So I think that and watching the guys live out a dream and just trying to help them on a day-to-day basis so they can go play and then hopefully get drafted. I think the memories will be, getting hired, the first time traveled, the first time I messed something up. But then the growth of the program, watching it grow year to year, a little better, a little better, a little better. And then all of a sudden culminate with a national title. But now we look and, got guys in the big leagues to watch and just tell my son, hey, I know that guy. Garrett Crochet is an all-star this year for the first time. He was pretty much the first signee Tony and Frank brought in that summer. It was the 18 summer, and we needed a pitcher, and they got Garrett Crochet to come, and now he's an all-star. So memories like that, just watching people succeed and the relationships I've built over the years.
Go White Sox. I thank you for mentioning that too, Chad. I really appreciate you sticking that to John. Yes, there is. The White Sox may suck, but we got an all-star, dadgummit.
That's right.
Chad, speaking of all-stars, speaking of the MLB, and this is my final question. It's a little more of a deep dive question. How do you think the college game of today, not the college game you played, but the college game of today, is seemingly transitioning to the major league level at a faster pace? Meaning, players are going from look at Paul Skeens, for example. What do you think it is? What do you think it is about the way it's being taught at the college level or the way it's being played now that is making that transition so easy for these players?
I think, one, you're getting better players in college because the draft shrunk, to 20 rounds. And now, when they moved that draft to the All-Star break and decided we're going to go to 20 rounds, it helped grow the college game. Some better players going to college. And then you got guys also going to college because they look at it. Now you got NIL, but look at it and say, do I want to go extended spring training, lower level minor leagues for a few years, or go play in the SEC where you fly private, nicer buses, better nutrition plan, better strength stuff. So then they're going to college. Like you've seen people now, I've never knew people pulled out of the MLB draft, but you see kids saying, I'm going to honor my commitment and go wherever. I think that's part of it. And I think the strength and nutrition programs are so advanced now, they're coming out more physically ready as well. And then you mix in good coaches that are teaching them the game, and they're preparing them. Like you said, you see a lot of guys now, you go to college for 3 years, play well, you're finishing your first year in AA, maybe even starting there. And I think that's a big thing. Better players because of the draft, and then the way that weight room is, nutrition is, they're physically ready, but then they're also getting a head start because, hey, I'm going to go to college, because now they've seen that fast track instead of spending those years in the minor leagues, especially now that you can, make money off your name while you're in college. So I think it's been a best of both worlds. I think college has gotten better because of that, and I think the MLB has been a big part of helping college get better. It seemed like they used to work against each other. Now they're starting to work together, and teams are realizing, even though it's the metal bat to the wood bat, they're much more prepared out of college than the 18-year-old high school kid.
Man, there it is, John. There's that's the insight I've been waiting on right there. The deep dive answer from Chad. One more question, John, and then I'll let you have it. Chad, one thing I have noticed is you do not see a college baseball coach make the jump to the majors, and as far as a manager position is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just because they have to work their way through the club to get their way there? I mean, you know what I mean? Like what are the odds that like a Chicago White Sox, for example, would pick up the phone and call Tony Vitello and be like, hey, man, we want you to be our manager? Like, the odds of that happening in my mind are just about zero.
Yeah, I mean, part of it has to do with the timing. Our season's going when they would want to hire somebody, we're in the middle of fall practice. So if they were to hire somebody, now you got a coach leaving, and basically in the middle of the year before, and then our season ends if they want to hire a college guy in the middle of the MLB season. So you already have a coach. There's some things that change in the timing in there, but a lot of times you'll see coaches go from college to professional baseball. It happens in December and January, which kind of puts your college at a tough spot just because you don't have the time to hire somebody else if it was the head coach per se. But I mean, I think it could happen. I just think it's a different game. They're not, Coach V's making his decisions with the coaches in the dugout in his gut. Professional baseball, you're making decisions based on a model, some gut, but more computer now. So I think it's just different styles, even though it's the same sport.
Go ahead, John.
First of all, I want to also give a lot of credit to Danny White, formerly UCF, now Tennessee Athletic Director, who's been there. It seems like he's been there like 10 years now also, Chad. But credit to Dan White, in the gang, because, you don't see, like you brought up, you don't see a Tony Vitello come in through these doors very often. You don't see a Josh Heupel, come in and recruit like he's been doing nationally, and actually getting guys to flip from other big D1 schools. And I just also want to give Danny White and the administration a lot of credit as well through this process, because they've done some great hires by hiring Danny White. And they also did some great hiring regarding Matt Barnes or Coach Barnes as well from the basketball point of view. And also, like you brought up, Tony Vitello. And I also think Josh Heupel was going to basically turn this football team around eventually also. So great. Let's give some administration some love as well, like Danny White, your athletic director as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable what Danny White's done since he's been here. It's just about having good leadership. You look at the years before, there's always a missing piece, something's off, disconnect. And it's like everybody's on the same page here. Everybody's going, the same direction and what they've done. And they're personable people. You can talk to them, have a conversation. They come to the games when it's time to be there. So they're just involved, and then they, great at raising money, which is how college athletics survive. You got to get people to donate. You're not going to just sit there and make money. But I think, unbelievable what they've done, his group and his team to let the coaches be in position to have the success, give them the support they need, whether that's nutrition, money, whatever it is. And I've never seen turnaround quite like it, where Tennessee's in a better spot probably than they've ever been athletically. This was probably the culminates of the national title, but probably the best overall year of Tennessee athletics in the history of the school. When you look at the championships and the performances from every single sport.
Are you surprised that Dalton Knecht did not be a Grizzly?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised and disappointed, but that's been fun to watch too. I've never watched summer league basketball so much in my life, but now they've got it on TV all the time, and there's good players.
My last question, Chad, what can you tell your players that you coached the last couple of years that are going through the MLB draft this weekend? They might not go as high as they want, or they might not go at all, for example. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you really never really know what the outcome could be this weekend regarding the draft. What kind of advice can you give these players that you coached the last 9 years or so, or in general, advice that, because you got played for the New York Mets organization, so what kind of advice can you give C-Mo and all of them for this weekend?
Just enjoy the process. It's the weirdest draft there is. It's all about saving money so you can pay another guy a little more. There's so many baseball players, and you can draft from high school, junior college, so many options. And so you got local scouts saying, hey, I think we should take this guy, but it's ultimately up to the director. Unless you're in that first round, I fell way down compared to what I had been told. So it's just unpredictable. So I say soak it in. No matter where you get your name called, you got your name called. And if not, you're either coming back, help yourself out, but just enjoy the whole thing. Realize it doesn't matter where you go. The ultimate goal is to get to major leagues. You're going to make some money off the draft, but you want to make a lot of money in a career. You got to make it to the major leagues. So it doesn't matter which pick you are in the draft.
More insight, man. Chad, we got to get you on more to just talk baseball, just business, really. I think that's, man. Did Tony V never come to you and be like, hey, bro, what about this? What did y'all have that type of relationship where y'all could sit down and
we talk about
bounce things off each other from a baseball perspective?
Yeah, we would talk. Usually after, he'd be like, I did this. That barely worked out. And I'm like, hey, you made the decision. But yeah, it's in meetings, and sometimes he'd ask thoughts or I'd give my opinion. But ultimately, it's up to him. But try to help out where you can. I've been around the game a while, and I just like chatting things up, chatting sports.
Man,
can you see Rocky Top for us?
No, we're not doing that. No.
Singing is not my top thing.
Dang, I hate that. All right, so Chad Zurcher joined us. He's now gonna have a national championship ring too, so that's pretty cool. Bet you he doesn't wear it. I bet it just stays in a case.
It's gonna be
so
in
you
the
can
case.
just stare at it all the time.
Oh yeah.
But Chad, we appreciate you coming on with us today, man. We hope to get you back on. Football, baseball, whatever. We'll definitely get you on and talk some Tennessee sports.
Sounds good. Let's just chat up some sports, man. That's what it's about. I appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right. See you.
Chad Zurcher came on and did an incredible job there, John. John, up next, let's talk a little bit of WWE. As we saw during the Money in the Bank, and I talked about it Monday. If you watched the show Monday, I did go over Money in the Bank pretty in depth. But John Cena announced that he will be retiring at this upcoming WrestleMania. He will be competing in the Men's Royal Rumble. He will be competing in the Elimination Chamber. But let's do a little fantasy booking here, John, because John Cena is a 16-time world champion. I would book this where you put the championship on him again to make him a 17-time world champion. And then you have Randy Orton, who is also a 16-time champion, defeat John Cena to then become a second 17-time champion. And then with Cena leaving, that allows you to continue storyline with the title. And then you can let Cena go against whoever. Honestly, I think it should be Cena and Orton for the title at Mania and have Orton beat Cena to give Orton his flowers. Because I don't think Orton's got too many years left either. So I think you can, in this one storyline, you can kind of kill two birds with one stone per se, and go ahead and get the title on both of them, let them both get their flowers, and then go from there. But I don't think you put the title on Cena right away. I think you got to work it in, let him win it at an Elimination Chamber or win it on a random Monday Night Raw, moment, or SmackDown, whatever. But don't go send him to NXT. Don't do that. That no. You know what I mean? Like this stop.
Yeah.
There's no. I get it. I understand it, but no.
I like that idea. I really do. Like you said, Randy Orton probably doesn't get that much longer in him either. I'll say probably the next 2 years tops for Randy Orton, maybe. Like you just brought up with Cena. Cena maybe gets that not national title, but it feels like a national title because he's going to win number 17. But I definitely think number 17 is close to him. And I think it's nearing. I think it's probably, like you said, probably within the next 8 months or so it could happen where he probably beats somebody unexpected like for that title that we're not sure about down the road right now because it's been an interesting storyline with Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline for all we know right now. For all we know, the Tribal Chief right now could win that title over Cody, and that's when John Cena could face him for that title, as well. So, phenomenal career for John Cena. Credit to him with the schedule that he's been having the last couple of years as well, by going back and forth between movies to wrestling to a few weeks off wrestling and then back to the movies as well. But yeah, John Cena, phenomenal career. I wasn't like he talked about on Pat McAfee a while back that his time is nearing at WrestleMania, and he did bring up he is going to be in some type of role still with the WWE. So I can see him giving like behind the curtain storyline with the Roman Reigns and everything like that with Triple H. I could see Cena basically be giving Triple H some opinions as well down the road on future stuff like this because it's John Cena. He's a Hall of Famer. And I guess too bad the Nikki Bella thing didn't work out for John Cena, but phenomenal career for John Cena.
Yeah, no doubt. And if you need tickets to see John Cena, you can go to SeatGeek.com, create you an account. For those of you watching right now, you can see the promo code. For those of you listening, it's 4-Star Sports Media, all one word. And it's the letter 4, and then you spell out everything else. But 4-Star Sports Media, you go find you any ticket, $50 or more, and I promise you, you can find a WWE ticket for $50 or more, I promise. Go find you a WWE ticket. And when you do, type in the promo code 4-Star Sports Media, and that will save you $20 off your ticket purchase. So, John, real quick, man, let's talk a little college football.
Okay. All right.
So I don't want to give away the topic because I want to keep that. But I do want to talk about the Big 12 media days. They wrapped up yesterday. Tuesday, Wednesday was the 2 days. I really enjoy Big 12. They always seem to get the media day season, talking season, whatever kicked off. But Mike Gundy would just, yeah, I don't know, man. Here we go. This is what he had to say.
.08 and Ollie was 0.1. So I looked it up, and it was based on body weight. Not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really 2 or 3 beers or 4. I'm not justifying what Ollie did. I'm telling you what decision I made. Well, I thought I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life, and it's just fine. So I got lucky. People get lucky. First, I thought, okay. So I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal?
So yeah, Mike Gundy had that to say this week during Big 12 media days. Now, John, I mean, I'm not trying to get personal in my life here, but I've had a DUI. I get it. I understand it. I understand the punishment, and from that day forward, I did not drink and drive. In today's day and age, and I know that really doesn't matter what day and age it is, but I mean, we just saw 3 football players be killed by a drunk driver. You see it happen every day around the nation. But I mean, take it for what it's worth. You may like it, you may not. My opinion is that there's no excuse to drink and drive in 2024. There's no excuse for getting behind the wheel under the influence. There's Uber, there's Lyft, there's taxi cabs, which are very expensive, but so is a DUI. So in 2024, I mean, we saw Justin Timberlake get a DUI. What? How? You have all these capabilities. You have all these things in the palm of your hands. And you get behind the wheel. But then for Ollie Gordon, star running back of the Oklahoma State, get a DUI, but then to follow that up, you get a DUI and you're not even 21. You're not even of legal age to be drinking. So if you were out at a bar, if you were out somewhere, that's going to create an additional investigation, because now the police are going to come back and go, okay, well, this kid's 20 years old. He's not 21 years old. He just blew a 0.10, which, yes, is not that much higher than the 0.08 legal limit, but there's a legal limit for a reason. And then Mike Gundy says there's no suspension for him. There's going to be internal punishment for Ollie, but nothing else. So, John, what's your thoughts on this?
First of all, Mike Gundy's answer for that question, or that whatever he's been asked, that answer is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Made yourself look like a fool. And not I'm 40 comment no more. I'm a man, I'm 40 comment. Said he had it maybe 1,000 times in his career. Come on, bro. Really? You don't say it that way, first of all. You don't answer it that way either. But unprofessional by Mike Gundy, first of all, regarding that. And I'm just totally shocked, to be honest with you, by his answers, by saying, like you brought up, 0-game suspension, man. Like, that's unheard of. First of all, like you brought up, underage for one thing. Not even 21 yet. Now the cops are going to be asking him, or his court appearance or whatever is going to happen, where did you get this alcohol from? Did somebody give it to you? Because that person should be charged as well for giving you alcohol at an underage. Was it at a party, or how did you get that alcohol? This surprised, man. Like, 0-game suspension, when I'm kind of thinking that he should have been suspended at least 2 or 3 games until the court hearing regarding that, and then go from there. But 3-game suspension max, regarding that. Think about it, man. Like, come on, man. Like you brought up, there's other options out there, like you brought up. People are getting killed left and right these days all over the country regarding DUIs in general. And then just to be suspended for 0 games, I'm just like, I lost a lot of respect for Gundy. Let's just say that right now, because the way he handled everything the last couple of days. And he's a fan favorite, don't get me wrong, from that comment that he said, man, I'm at 40, comment. But I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan right now of Coach Gundy.
Well, I mean, my thing is this, and we're going to talk college football at the very end of the show when we talk about that we have enjoyed going to. But real quick, man, let's get a guy on that is going to talk a little bit about baseball, but what he's going to talk is a specific book that he's written. John, you want to go ahead and introduce the guest?
Well, actually, it's not a book, but it could write a book now in the future regarding his, Omaha experience, where he's a big Tennessee Vol fan. Blake.
Yeah, thinking real highly of me over here.
So, Blake, yeah, you're going to be writing a book about your Omaha, Nebraska road trip that you get to experience the Tennessee National Champion. So, yeah, Blake, you're a big Tennessee fan, I know. Just talk about the experience that you got to experience, and just going to Omaha, first of all, like talk about like what you kind of planned out leading up going to Omaha.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, first and foremost, for clarity, I'm not writing any sort of books, although that is a dream of mine someday. No, yeah, I went to UT from 2011 to 2015, and what many people would call the darkest dark ages of Tennessee athletics. I think our football team maybe had a winning record one year. Basketball was okay, but I can remember, as a college student, going to baseball games at Lindsey Nelson Stadium by myself because I couldn't convince any of my friends to go with me. And I'm a huge baseball fan, and there'd be, barely anybody in the stadium. And so I'd sit there and watch. And so it's been really fun to, follow the program over these past few years. And as Coach Vitello has really completely transformed it. And so, when we made the College World Series this year, I said, okay, like if we make it to that championship weekend, I got to go. I've never seen Tennessee accomplish something like this for the time that I've been a Vol fan. I wasn't necessarily cheering on the Vols in '98 when I was 5 years old. But, now, about almost 10 years out of college, I was like, man, I have to go experience this for myself. And so my wife and I packed up the car and made the trek out to Omaha. We bought tickets for game 2, which was on that was a Sunday. And so we're driving up Saturday, listening to game 1 on the radio. And of course, that game didn't turn out how we thought it would. And so I remember driving up being like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I'm literally driving 10 hours up to Omaha right now. I can't see them lose. Hopefully we can pull this out. And I realized, every game of the College World Series, I had worn the same Tennessee shirt, except for the game we lost. When I was driving, I was wearing a different shirt. And so the following 2 games, I made sure I had this Adidas Tennessee Vol shirt on that I purchased when I was a sophomore in college. And so, getting up to Omaha was absolutely a blast. I think the first thing we did when we got there was go to the team hotel and see the guys walk down to the stadium and everything. And quite frankly, game 2, I was a little shocked at how many A&M fans were there versus Tennessee fans. I think a lot of the A&M fans there during game 2 were expecting to see a victory and see them carry the trophy home. Luckily, Dylan Dreiling and Cal Stark with a couple 2-run home runs in that game gave us the W. Cal Stark, his 2-run home run in that game put us up 4-1. That was his first hit of the entire College World Series, and so that was pretty wild. And then game 3, obviously we win game 2, get to game 3, and the stadium was absolutely electric. I mean, it was 50% Tennessee fans, 50% A&M fans. And it was wild. And we set the tone early with Christian Moore hitting a leadoff home run, putting us on the board in that first inning. And from there, it may have been a bumpy road, but there was never a doubt. Like there was an air of confidence that you could tell the team had. There's a confidence that Tennessee fans in the stands had. There was something in the air that night where we knew we were going to take it home. So it was a blast.
Blake, I want to apologize to you. I had your name and it said Omaha, and then it said was there, and then next to it said promote book. So I think I had you with another together. So just for clarification, Blake is not writing a book about his experience in Omaha. I think it'd be a pretty cool idea. And if you do happen to write the book, then we can always resort back to this interview. Blake, man, and I'm full disclosure, I'm not a Tennessee fan.
Okay.
But
it's okay.
As a fan, I know but as a fan of sports, to be there and watch your team get to hoist the national championship trophy, and I say it like that for a reason because there's only one. You don't get 2 of them. There's not participation trophies here. You get one, and you got to earn it. Being a grad, doing just all of that. I mean, obviously there was emotion. Like we talked to Chad Zurcher just a minute ago. Chad said he still looks at the trophy and is like, is that real?
Yeah.
Are you in a similar boat where you have to like wake up and like go turn the TV on or go look it up online? Be like, did we really win the national championship? Okay, we did.
Yeah, so much so that my wife is worried about me. I was at a hotel for work a few days ago, and ESPNU was replaying Game 3, and so I put the game on and watched it again, start to finish. And I told her that, and she was like, "Okay, like come on now, we were there, we lived it. You know what's going to happen." But there's a certain element of. For me, baseball is an incredibly nostalgic and romantic sport. And so there's an element of like, there's beauty that comes with this game. And so seeing your team get the chance to hoist the trophy at the end, there's nothing like it. I'm incredibly lucky. I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan as well. And so in 2006, my dad and I got to see them win it all. We were at the game the Cardinals won it all in 2006. And so now, as a 32-year-old who's married, getting to see my college team win it all and hoist the trophy with my wife. I mean, how in the world does that happen? I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And so, it's one thing to watch, these things happen on TV. You see the interviews with the players afterward. You see them get on the podium and accept the trophy and, dump the Gatorade and all that. But it's another to be in the stadium and be there when the cameras are turned off, because you get to see the players genuinely be excited. We were standing, our seats were, way out in the bleachers. We got some cheap seats. But after the game, all the A&M fans left and all the Tennessee fans stayed, and we all kind of crowded behind home plate to watch the trophy ceremony. And once that ended, all the players made their way into the stands. You got to remember, these are kids. And so they made their way into the stands to find their mom, their dad, their brother, their sister, their girlfriend. And then all these kids start chasing them, wanting to get an autograph, wanting to get a chance to meet, their favorite player. And these guys were awesome. They stopped and took pictures. They stopped and shook hands. There were 85-year-old men acting like they were 10, wanting autographs and selfies and things like that. And so it's an incredibly unique experience to be able to see this play out live. And it's something I'll remember for the rest of my life. And so, I'll constantly be thinking about that day, be thinking about that game, that team. There were so many moments throughout the whole season, really, but really during that College World Series that are iconic. You go back to game 1 of the College World Series and, we're down by 3 going into the 9th. And, Blake Burke has a check swing and then drives one up the middle of the next pitch and ties the game up. And Dylan Dreiling, a couple guys later, wins the ball game. And then you go to, the final series, Dylan Dreiling again, he's the hero. 2-run home runs in every game in the 7th inning. It's absolutely unbelievable. There's so many stories on that team that are good. Xander Sechrist, the guy who pitched game 3, he was a midweek starter his whole career until this year. He wasn't getting talked about, going to play pro ball or anything. And he comes out here his last 6 starts of the year and shoves. And Tennessee doesn't win without him. And there's so many guys like that. This team, you could tell, really loved each other. And that's what made it really fun to watch. There wasn't, there's a lot of personality on this team, but you could tell nobody on that team thought of themselves as bigger than the whole team. And so that made this team really lovable. And to cap it off with a national championship is fantastic. I'm riding this wave for a long time. It's been hard to be a Tennessee fan. And so I'm going to keep riding this one.
All right, man. So last question for you, Blake. It's a 2-part question. Number 1, how long after the final out were you before you were online buying merchandise? And secondly is, have you already purchased tickets for the repeat of next year in Omaha?
Well, first question. So people started lining up in the 7th inning to purchase national championship, Tennessee national champion shirts. And if you're one of those people listening, how dare you? You almost jinxed it. We were up 6-1 in the 7th inning. You go and try to buy a national championship shirt, and Texas A&M scores 4 and almost ties the game. And so I blame you for almost jinxing it there. But no, right after the game ended, I walked over to the stand where they were selling national championship merch, and it was sold out. And so luckily they had a little QR code, and I ordered my shirt right away before they sold out online. And then no, I haven't bought tickets yet for next year. I think I'm very superstitious, and so we'll see what the Vols can do next year. We're doing real good in the transfer portal currently. We've got a bunch of guys coming in that I think are pretty solid. So don't want to jinx it yet. We'll see.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, don't jinx it, Wes. But yeah, I want to.
Hey man, come on now. It's your first ever national championship. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, there is some Tennessee fan in checkerboard overalls with no shirt on that has already bought tickets and already online telling the rest of the nation they can go suck it because Tennessee's going to win again next year. Blake, I'm right.
Oh, you are. And there's, believe me when I say that's in me. That is absolutely in me. And so I'm going to, until there's another champion, I'm going to ride this out.
No, Blake, I know you're a busy guy today. I just wanted to thank you for coming on. I appreciate you giving us your insight on your trip to Omaha. It's definitely on the bucket list item, as hopefully one day I'll get to go and get the experience. I think it's just hard, like you talked about, and I talked about numerous times. The travel is so difficult for a lot of people. driving 10 hours, finding a hotel that's reasonable for one thing, for a reasonable price, and then, like you said, buying tickets. Because most of the time, tickets right now are on third-party markets only. Because if you go through, like, the box office through Omaha or the website that they have, for their ballpark, sometimes they sell out so quick. And most of the time, like the standing room only, for example, you can't take a chance on those tickets either because they do it by lottery, which I found out this year as well. So, Blake, I'm glad you got to enjoy it. Go Tigers, by the way. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, Blake, thank you. Thanks again, Blake.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Blake was incredible, man. Blake was incredible. Man, that had to have been fun to be there and watch that live. All right, John, it's dessert time, man. Somebody just texted my phone. I don't know who it was. It's dessert time. So let's go ahead and do it. So we talked earlier a little bit about college football. We're going to close with college football today as we go over. It's 3 different top 5s. Okay. So the first one is going to be what, John?
All right. The first top 5 are stadiums that you want to go to that you could adventure this year alone that you want to go see a stadium, top 5 stadiums that you want to go see this year in general.
Just this season.
Yep.
Okay. Number 1 is Army, Navy, just because of that atmosphere. I would love to go to it's a Jacksonville between Georgia and Florida. Florida State, Florida, no matter where that game.
Which that game might be a home and home in the near future, also the Georgia-Florida game. So keep your eye on the news regarding that. So with the stadium renovation, so you might get to try at least before that renovations happen.
I think it should be home and home.
Yeah,
that would be a blast. Same thing with Arkansas, Texas A&M. Man, I'll be honest with you. That at Oklahoma, Texas this year in the SEC is just going to have a different feel. What's that? 3? That's 3 there. 4. Oh, I want to go to Kansas and Colorado at Arrowhead Stadium.
I like it.
Like really, I do. Like really, I do. I really want to go to that game.
I
think that is going to be an absolute dude. I Kansas City ain't but 2.5 hours away, bro.
The snow.
What's about 3 hours? No, I think it's early in the season, so I don't know that it'll snow. But
you never know. Missouri weather.
Man, you ain't kidding. But I think that would be very cool atmosphere to be at, especially in that stadium, as loud as it gets. That's 4. Man, honestly, I think Tennessee, Alabama this year. I don't know why. I mean, Tennessee, I don't want to say it too loud because it'll make Alabama fans go crazy, but Tennessee beat them, recently. So, but I mean, I just think the whole Kellen DeBoer thing is really, really intriguing to me because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he did good at Washington, but Washington is not Alabama. And you're not following Nick Saban at Washington. I don't know, man. There's a lot to it. But anyway, go ahead. What is your top 5?
All right, my number 5, I'm going to go with Austin and Oregon because I want to see Dylan Gabriel break out this year because a lot of people were predicting Oregon to be a dark horse in that playoff this year and be in the Big Ten title game. And Dylan Gabriel, who knows, might be a Heisman finalist, down the road as well. So Dylan Gabriel makes my number 5. Number 4, Memphis fans get to experience it in a couple of years, but I want to experience it now. I want to go to Boise.
He said 25-degree blue
now. Hey, 25-degree Boise, Idaho, 3 to 5 inches of snow on the ground in a late November. Can't go wrong with the blue turf at night, right? Number 3, you brought up Army. But I also want to see a stadium in West Point. I've heard so much great things about West Point. It's right on the Hudson River. I was kind of torn for that number 3 spot because Army Air Force, that game should be a home and home like it is year in, year out as well. Number 2, Kyle Field and Texas A&M. Just because 100-something thousand people and the 12th man under you, and then the midnight yell the night before. Can't go wrong there as well. It's just when you got 11 a.m. kickoff, people partying all night, and whatnot as well. Number 1, I'm going to go with Sanford Stadium in Athens. I got to experience it in 96 for the Olympics. But this is a year that Georgia can probably make some more noise because Carson Beck. And this is the year that Georgia makes some noise again. So that's my number 1. It was kind of tough, but I did it, because of that.
Also, I want to throw an extra in there. Shout out Rex Nelson and Ouachita Baptist University. But I want to go back to the Battle of the Ravine between Ouachita Baptist and Henderson State.
Mm-hmm.
They walk across the street, dude. It's the coolest thing ever. It's so cool to watch. Just like they walk right through where Ouachita tailgates. Like they come over this little bridge and then boop, they're right there. They walk in the stadium. It's so cool, man. But that game, it's the shortest distance between 2 rivals in all of college football. And I went and did the math on it, John. It is 0.8 miles away from field to field.
So I'll do another bonus one. How about Texas, Georgia, and Austin, Texas this year?
That was almost on my list.
Sarkisian versus Kirby Smart. Heck, Texas and Georgia could be a national or SEC championship preview for all we know.
Man, you're gonna find out real quick if Texas is back. All right, so the second list of top 5 stadiums is which one?
Stadiums that me and you both have experience to growing up together. Shout out to our teachers. For letting us skip school that Friday.
Numerous times. I can't tell you how many Fridays I left school early for a doctor appointment, and then we went on the road. Gosh, that's crazy to think about too, man. I mean, wow, holy crap! All right, man. So this is actually, it was a little more challenging than I thought it would be. So, top 5. One of my favorite stadiums. I haven't been there in ages, but one of my favorite stadiums. I was there the night that Clint Sterner fumbled against Tennessee, and that is The Rock in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, at Southern Miss. That was remember they had that little bitty, small little jumbotron over. I guess it was on the west side of the stadium. I guess, man, it was little bitty, and they showed the replay of Clint Sterner fumbling the football. It's so funny. I'll never forget that. But I have another memory there too. So. Matter of fact, I talked to Danny Haynes about this when I saw him at the Boise State game. So we were there. There was a Southern Miss fan heckling Danny. I mean, as you know, Danny has, he's missing part of his arm. So there was a fan heckling him. Alabama fans will remember this name, but Albert Means, who was on the Memphis team. He left Alabama, came to Memphis. Albert Means turned around and looked at that Southern Miss fan and said, "If I have to come into the stands, I will, but you're going to shut your mouth about my kicker." And that fan sat down so fast because Albert is not a small man. I mean, Albert Means was massive. He was over 320. But I told Danny that story when I saw him at the Boise State game. It was a pretty cool moment. But, yeah, Southern Miss for sure, man. Nippert Stadium has got to be one. I've been there, I guess, 3 or 4 times now. Nippert was fun, like I said. Did you ever come over here to Fayetteville? Oh, you didn't. You went to Little Rock though, didn't you?
Nope.
You didn't. Dang, you didn't go to Little Rock when Memphis played in Little Rock either. Damn, I went to both those games. Oh crap! Well, crap, I had that on there. Tennessee. I mean, you've been to Tennessee.
Okay.
I know Tennessee's fun. I mean, not fun. It's not a fun stadium, but I mean, it's It's
Hey, okay.
but I mean, Legion Field, man. Like that's one of them that I mean, just to say that I've been there, is pretty cool. I mean, the stadium's old as crap, outdated as all get out. That one was fun. The GMAC Bowl was a fun bowl. I know. I
didn't get to go to that either.
Did you not? God, man, that was D'Angelo's last game. You didn't go to that game?
I was working at Toys R Us.
Oh my God, that was D'Angelo's last game, dude.
It was snowing here. It was snowing here.
Yeah.
Back home.
So storming its ass off in Mobile, Alabama, because it rained the entire game. Well, no, it wasn't the entire game. It was nice the first quarter. The second quarter, it started storming. D'Angelo Williams got hurt. Memphis ended up winning the game against Bowling Green. But because that was one of Tommy West's first bowl games. That was that was right around New Orleans Bowl. So we came back to Memphis and we got to, I don't know, Mississippi somewhere. And it started getting colder and it started getting colder. And then you look up and there's people in Memphis talking about ice and snow. And I'm like, what? And it was a solid sheet of ice when we got back to the let's see, man. Yeah. Legion, Nippert, Papa John's was fun. I enjoyed Papa John's. We almost stormed the field, but that big old security guard looked at us and said, "Y'all ain't getting on this field." I said, "Yes, sir." Went and sat down. That was the D'Angelo year. We were going to storm the field because we came back to win that game.
That was like one of the first
my
years
favorite.
Papa John's opened.
It was. That was, I think, the first year it had opened. Because they had that big statue of Johnny Unitas over behind the end zone. The number one, man, and Tulane doesn't play there anymore, but it's got to be the Superdome, dude. That stadium was just fun to be at. Matter of fact, I was at the last game when Scott Vogel intercepted the pass to win the game. I was at the last game that they played on the old turf. If you remember the old turf that was there.
Right.
That was the final college game played, or I think it was the final game in general, played on that turf. They were ripping it up right after that game. Because I remember a few guys talking about it that were Tulane fans. They were making a big deal about it. And that's always kind of stuck in my head. But yeah, the Superdome. Superdome's got to be right there. All right, man, what's yours?
Oh, man. I was going to put Superdome on there, but I knew you would probably take it. But, yeah, first of all, regarding Tulane, those fun games in general where we outnumbered their fans 30-1, basically, it felt like.
Oh, God. Dude, they played their bands. There wasn't a band at the game. Tulane did not have a band. They played their fight song and all band music for the Tulane side of things through the loudspeaker of the Superdome.
Right. But also, yeah, because, the Hyatt Hotel right across from the Superdome where a lot of Tiger fans like me and you stayed at years ago, and then they got destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. But, yeah, that Hyatt Hotel was phenomenal where you could just walk. It's like a shopping mall also in there where you could just walk across to the stadium, in general. Mm-hmm. But number 5, it was a tie. Centennial Bank, Arkansas State / Floyd Stadium in Middle Tennessee.
Didn't think about
just
Arkansas State.
Yeah, those stadiums, on-campus stadiums, are just top-notch, phenomenal.
Jonesboro's fun, man. I enjoy Jonesboro.
Yeah, and especially Middle Tennessee, man. Like, just experiencing a Middle Tennessee game
Murph.
on campus as well. Yeah.
The Murph. Yeah.
Number 4, Papa John. Or number 4, actually, is going to be Vaughn Heavyway Stadium in Oxford. As much as you hate hearing Hottie Toddy guys,
I hate that place. I hate that. But I'm not putting the stadium on that list. I hate that place.
Hey,
I do. I hate it.
For a rivalry game to see us win that game in general, the last couple of years, D'Angelo and all them played as well. Number 3, Papa John Stadium brought it up, man.
Freaking Ole Miss on the
Hey.
list. I'd rather put Starkville on there than I would Ole Miss.
Well, I'm getting there. Number 3.
Okay.
Number 3. Hey, I'm just trying to remember the good years that we had some talented players and went to Oxford to beat them.
Man, I remember being in Starkville sitting up top when Rip Shearer was the coach, and we sucked, and that was a fun game.
Yeah, number 3, Papa John Stadium. You brought up the statue. The first couple of years when they first opened. I think that stadium is still on campus too, if I might add. But yeah, number 2.
I mean, they've done some renovations to it.
Yeah, but awesome stadium in general. Number 2, you brought up Neyland. 100 and something thousand people, all the smack talk you want. Back in the 90s, from just experiencing as a teenager. Oh God! As much as it pains me, T. Martin throwing that. Hey, as much as it pains me seeing T. Martin throw that 60-yard bomb on 4th down, but
caught in the back of the end zone. I'm not talking about it.
Yeah, but my cousin was wide open to the end zone. That's a different story for another day. Yeah, number 1, Davis Wade Stadium down in Starkville.
100%.
Night game. You got to see
so much fun.
Night game. Ring that cowbell.
Freaking clanger, baby. Freaking going nuts.
Then, hey, the dog rock dance that Mississippi State
dog
did.
Pound, baby.
Yeah.
Dog Pound. Yeah, heck yeah.
The Jackie Sherrills, Julie Dunn days versus Tommy West and all them, and Rip Shearer days as well.
I ain't no freaking messenger boy. I remember what Tommy West told Jack Sherrill. Told his ass that straight up. I ain't no messenger boy. I remember that. It was great.
But yeah, just experiencing the cowbell at night, just an overall big atmosphere. Yeah. And then of course the Mississippi State fans are always been nice to Memphis fans in general. Then our last top
thing, man.
Yeah. Then our last top 5 are stadiums that we actually been to but not together.
Ooh, okay. Well, obviously, Davis Wade Stadium, which is not Davis Wade.
That's what it's called.
Donald W. Reynolds Stadium in Fayetteville. War Memorial in Little Rock. I did not know that you had been those two, so that's easy too. Did you go down to Monroe?
Nope.
Okay, Monroe. Have you ever been to Tulsa?
Yep.
Okay. I bet. Okay. That one doesn't count. You've been to Arlington Stadium, I know. Oh, you've never been to Ouachita Baptist? To what's the name of their stadium? God, I can't remember the name of their stadium. But that stadium. That's 4. I'm trying to think of where else, man.
Those are your top 4, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where the 5th one is. Oh, you've never been to oh no, you went to Vanderbilt. Yeah, I've
been to Vandy.
Yeah. Did you go to Lexington, Kentucky?
Nope, never been there.
There you go. Been there.
The former court will now called Kroger Field. Huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Top 5 for me that I've been to be honest with you, was other than the obvious of Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Tennessee and all that. Let's just do the different obvious other than obvious choices. A stadium I got to experience a rivalry game this past year was Tennessee, Florida at night. The Swamp was a great atmosphere to go to. I'll definitely go back. But like I told you numerous times, I won't sit in the end zone again because you can't really see what's going on in the other end zone. But the Swamp, electric. And then Don't Back Down song at the start of the 4th quarter, man, like second to none. As much as a lot of people hate UCF in general these days, I've been to FBC Morty's down in Orlando. Just to see the student body.
They say that place is fun, man.
Just to see the student body of UCF, the number 1 enrollment school down in Florida, I might add, too, still. Just jump around from the north end zone to south end zone, just to the bounce house. There's nothing like it. Especially when you got Gus Malzahn in the game coaching still over at UCF. Let's do number 3. We'll go with, like you brought up, Legion Field. It's got so much history regarding that. Yeah, the bleachers might suck in that stadium, but just the history regarding Legion Field in general, because it's been so many years. Because you get to see Memphis play Auburn at Legion Field too, so that was pretty cool, regarding that. Number 4.
Lost that game. Mike Norvell can't win a damn ball. Go ahead.
Number 4, I'm going to go with, let's see here, Gerald J. Ford Stadium in SMU. That's a stadium
That's on my list to go to.
That's a pretty top-notch stadium. Because, like we brought up numerous times, it's on campus. The SMU fans don't even support it. Let's just say that right now. How they got in the ACC is still beyond me. But
It's all about the Benjamin, baby.
Oh, I know, but that's a stadium definitely that I've been to and definitely enjoy the atmosphere, regarding that. Number 5, let's go with DATCU down in North Texas. That stadium is another stadium that's on campus that the student body definitely supports their football team. And definitely North Texas is definitely a stadium that I definitely enjoyed going to as well, the last couple of years when Memphis. I didn't get to see Memphis play at North Texas, but I got to see North Texas play other opponents. And just to see the student body support the Mean Green, second to none down in Texas. Plus, you're in the Dallas region. So, plus you can see that stadium in general, too. So, yeah, those are my top 5.
Yeah, man. No, I really enjoy the top 5 list that we're doing. I think we're going to start doing that, like some top 5 lists here on the buffet. We've already got the top 10 going on over at the Tigers Den, and don't forget, we've got a new show coming up. It's called Over Under. Real simple, Over Under. So what you'll do is we will go through. We'll pick a list of say 12 games a week. We'll split it up 4, 4, 4, and 4, 3, 3, 3, and 3, whatever it may be. 3 games from college football, 3 games from the NFL, 3 games from college basketball, and say 2 games from another sport, and then we'll have 1 game of just a random sport, whether that's Australian rules football, cricket, water polo, lacrosse, cockfighting, marbles, something random that you can just say over under on. And we will have fun doing that every week. That show will probably go about an hour, because I figure we will go through like normal, break down some stats, break down some trends that these teams have had recently against the spread, things of that nature. So it's kind of like our Against the Spread show a little bit. I thought about doing the show called Against the Spread, but I like Over Under better. But yeah, that'll be roughly an hour. We'll record and get that posted. I don't think we'll do that one live. I think it'll probably be a record. But we got that coming up. We got the Ice Hogs podcast, the podcast on all things Arkansas Razorback Hockey Club. That'll be coming up here very soon. They're making an incredible leap into a new conference, a new division. And I've been in contact with Keller Sims a lot over the last couple of weeks to get some things lined up there. Plus, Tigers Den will be back next Wednesday night, and us right here at the Sports Buffet. We'll be back Monday, Wednesday, Friday, be on roughly 8:30 in the morning and go about an hour and a half. We went a little bit long today. And once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties we had earlier during the Royals guy. We're glad that we got all that stuff taken care of, and he did an incredible job. We thank you to all of our guests today that have joined us on the buffet, and we hope that you guys have gotten full on sports. But for John Sturdivant, I am Wes Pruitt. Appreciate everybody watching and listening, and as always, stay classy, folks.